Hello?
Hello. Reminder.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you pointing that out. Maria's not here yet. Let me get a chance, see if I can contact her. Yes, it is. Okay, great. I did not see your email. Thank you very much. Okay, thanks so much. Yeah, bye-bye. For those of you who have, oh, I see her. She's online now.
I am online now. I apologize. I had power went completely out, Bill, right? Like at 1 minute before the webinar went on. So it took everything down. And Camera wouldn't connect. As you can see, I'm sitting. My standing desk won't even stand. Nothing will happen, but we're here.
Okay, great. Thank you for being here.
I'm excited
I
to be here. Sorry to keep you guys waiting.
I did the score overview and a slide introduction of you, so I'll turn it over to you at this point.
I can take it from here. I just wanted to make sure that I could do that. So I apologize. Let's get into it, everybody, because I know you've been waiting. I'm going to bring the chat box up so that way that's where I can hear you. Please make sure your mics are off. And I'm not going to definitely bring you up front and center if we don't need to, but you're going to see, let's see. Yeah, we're working, we're projecting. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Please do forgive me. I wish I controlled electricity, but I didn't. I think there was a power surge because they're doing construction next to us that just took everything down for a good 5 minutes, but 5 minutes was enough to throw everything electronic wonky, right? So thank you for understanding. Y'all are the kindest. You're the kindest. Bill, thank you again. Let's go ahead and dive in because I know how valuable your time is and I want to make sure you get the most from today. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the presentation front and center. All right, everybody, you're going to see me possibly in two places. Just know that if you focus on, they're both going to be the same thing. So you may want to just not or ignore one, but I can't change that right now, but we're going to go forward, right? Let's go ahead and go, everybody. All right, if you want a copy of today's slides in the handout that I'm using, you can go right here. I'm going to
I'm
also
online for the next few hours.
Okay, somebody has a
Okay.
hot mic on. It is being recorded. Please make sure you mute yourself. So I did hear somebody's mic come on. So make sure you mute yourself. So that way it's a good learning experience for everybody, as well as it's a good recording. So perfect. I see the person who was on who had that background noise already muted themselves. So perfect, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. I just dropped in the chat box a link to get a copy of the slides in the handout. It's important that you get that while we're in session, because in session is when you can actually not just click on it, but you can download it. Do that now, because then after the session is over, it won't be available then. You won't have access to it, but it will be emailed to you probably tomorrow when we render and get a copy of the recording going and actually uploaded. Okay. All right, everybody. This is your first time here, this is not the normal experience. I see all the very kind people in chat, but I do want you to know that you are here in the right place so that we can talk about cybersecurity. So if this is your first time here, I'd love to welcome you, please, and put the number 1 in the chat just to let me know that you're here. Also, I want to make sure you find the chat because that's where I can hear you. This is because of SCORE, and they are wonderful people to connect with. So if you have any questions afterwards, please connect with them. Oh, wonderful. You're all first timers and you're extremely patient and kind. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you being here for that. This is who I am. This is me in the background as well. So I do come to you from the Google team, but I also have been a small business person. So I understand what it's like to be able to do all this, to be able to be butcher, baker, candlestick maker, and now try to be chief cybersecurity officer. I also have earned the Texas Governor's Excellence in Small Business Award. So I know what it's like to be able to juggle this and actually do this from the trenches. So everything that I'm going to be teaching you today is very practical. And do know that cybersecurity does absolutely impact us all. This is really important for us to know. I've been working remotely since 2004, before it was sexy. Beforehand, when I tell people or ask them if they want to meet on Zoom or join me or FaceTime, it was like, what are you? Who are you? Everybody was about, let's meet at the coffee shop. And 2020 changed all of that. Now the heightened expectation is that we're all online. And not only do we go online, but we live online on these little devices. So that's why it's very important for us to be secure and to make sure that our team is secure. Now I'm going to go ahead and start the recording over here, so I'll get a crisp clean of this one. So you'll see that we're talking about cybersecurity in your small business. You're going to see that anything small business that you want to find from Google, if you look at the URL at the very middle, right below the title there, you'll see grow.google/small businesses. They can answer your questions there, and there's a lot of resources there that SCORE actually can assist you with or bring me in to assist and provide training on. So you'll see at the very, very bottom of that slide, you'll see 2 social media handles. One is me on X or Twitter at Maria Duron, and the second is me on Instagram at Marketing Coach Maria. I would love if you would connect with me there, because what I love to do is to celebrate when people actually apply what they've learned, so that 89 to 92% do not apply what they've learned. This is great edutainment. They take copious notes and then they get busy and things happen and there's great intention, but it never happens. For those who actually do apply, I like to celebrate with celebratory gift dances across socials to really showcase how unique you are that you applied what you've learned. So we've all seen an email like this, from the Nigerian prince, from somebody who just really wants to give us $1.5 million, haven't we? And we think this is all that we need to be aware of with cybersecurity. Or the fact that somebody can actually trust us with this kind of money, that they send us this email. And I wish it were just that simple. But cybersecurity thieves and hackers have gotten very, very complicated, very, very smart. So you will see even messages like this that are texted to you that you think may be legitimate because maybe you do have a Netflix account and you're thinking, oh, why is my subscription on hold? I intended to watch the rest of Cobra Kai tonight. I don't want that on hold. I'll click on this real quickly because we're multitasking. We have things going on and we see this come across and we just like to clear it right away. But we don't realize that this is also a scam. And this is a great way to get things like your account information, personal information, and at the very least, to know that this phone number is active. There's nothing that excites a hacker more who likes to sell people's email addresses and their actual mobile phone number on the dark web than knowing for sure that somebody and a real person is at the end of that phone number, that they're either receiving texts or the end of that email address. Once they get that confirmation, even if you didn't do anything, the fact that you clicked on it is a signal that this is a live address, which means I can get $60 to $250 on the dark web for it, as opposed to a dead address where I might get $1 or $2. So when you interact anytime with it, that is a signal that this is somebody that I can go sell. So even this person demands a Bitcoin ransom. So I've seen this happen quite a bit where people see their machines lock up and now they're actually held for ransom for a certain amount. So it's important for us to be very careful with that. And y'all just may want to make sure you've muted your microphones because again, we're recording this. We have your package. Oh, look at this. Kevin says, give me your mailing details. Okay. This is your package is delayed by USPS. This started at the holiday time and it's continued. Your package is delayed by USPS. See where it's at, click here. And you never signed up for USPS alerts. In fact, you may not even be getting it or know for sure you're getting it from the United States Postal Service. It could be coming from Amazon. And you're wondering, wow, this is weird. And you think that it's it, but it's a scam that can actually get the most of all of us because we click on it, which is a huge money signal to everybody that, oh, this is an active account. So now we can go sell it. So what we're going to cover today is that it matters for your small business, and understand the chain is only as strong as the weakest link. So think of every contractor that you work with, everybody on your team, every family member that has not just access to passwords, but to your devices, to your Wi-Fi, because Wi-Fi alone can be something that people go around different neighborhoods to see if they can jump on an unprotected Wi-Fi. Because when you can do that, then you can get to every device that's connected to that Wi-Fi. It's not because we're looking for free Wi-Fi, because we want to save the 25 to 50 bucks a month that we pay for internet access. They're after all the devices connected. And did you know that your printer is one of the least secure devices that somebody likes to get to? And your printer drum, so a printer or a copy machine or a combo of both, keeps up to about 500 different images in its actual hard drive that they can access now. Images that you've copied, that you've faxed, that you've scanned. So how do you protect your business online? What to do if you're attacked? And then always I end with a recap of free resources, right? I get those all the time too, Christy. It's terrible. And there's some that look very legit. So cybersecurity matters all the way around. It has everything to do with any device and any person that has access. Let me give that again. Any device and any person. So your 2-year-old toddler's little device that you may have locked up, but they can go online to watch some certain things on Disney Plus or on YouTube, that is now connected to Wi-Fi, and that is a portal or an opening or an opportunity for a spammer or scammer. Understand that data security for people who are doing business with you is very important. I want to know that you're good stewards with my information. And then also you want to protect your own business, because for those of us who are small business owners, who has time, just free time laying around that you have to deal now with a cyber hacking and trying to get back online and to recover everything and to cancel all your cards and to come back and restart them all. I mean, seriously, who has the time for that, right? The Internet of Things often is a weak point. Exactly, it really is. Kevin is speaking wisdom here too. What if the copier printer is at the FedEx store? Exactly. Think about that. Are they wiping their information all the time? Are they keeping that clear? That's a lot to consider, right, Eric? You just don't think about all the different places your personal information is kept and stored just because you're not used to that. I agree, Christy. It's a great point. So 85% of small business owners say that having a plan is important because you really, really don't want to create a plan while you're in the middle of a huge stress point. It's so hard to make simple decisions when you're going through a crisis. So it's important if you can do this now and you communicate it to everybody because now they are more aware too. And sometimes it's just that awareness that'll make the big difference. So how can you protect yourself online? Well, think about what is vulnerable to attacks. Out-of-date websites. This is one that is a pain point. In fact, I was talking to a member of our community because she had a WordPress site, and she said, "Maria, I started a WordPress site because I thought it was easy. You can pretty much what you put in is what you post and publish, and it's easy and simple to get around." And I explained to her that yes, it's easy, but it also has lots of updates. Because of the updates, there are always security breaches that needs to update for. And if you are not continually updating your website background, your website apps, everything connected there, then you might have something out of date that is vulnerable to a hacker or an attacker. If you have out of date software, it's the same thing. I know I don't like it either. Windows and their 5 million updates can sometimes just drive me wild. But understand a lot of those updates have to do with security breaches that have already been figured out and now they've patched it. So if you don't have the patch, you're one of the ones that the hackers are hoping that they can find, that are the people who are just too busy right now, so still have that window open. Or it could be other technical vulnerabilities. So we know the basics about protecting our password and identity. We want to make it difficult to guess. All right, so if you have the same password for everything, for every single software you have online, from your financials to this is how you get on TikTok, you need to change that. If you need to write that down in an old manual, let me see if I've got it here. I mean, I have everything digitally backed up, but I have the old-fashioned password book. Okay. It's just an old-fashioned password book because nothing like an analog version of it, just in case everything's down, or just like I experienced a moment ago, you have no electricity. So what do you do then? Right? So you want to make sure your passwords are difficult to guess. I was actually working with the head of a credit union. Okay, so because you might look at this and go, "Oh, Maria, this is so basic." Basic, but does it get done? Right? So I was working with a head of a credit union. Her husband's a pastor. So all of her passwords for everything, even the credit union, even all 40,000 credit union members' information from their place of employment, where they work, all their phone numbers, their email addresses. She used the password Jesus, JESUS. Her security question was, who was your first teacher? Jesus. Who's your best friend? Jesus. Everything was Jesus. Her husband was a pastor, was not hard to guess. I told her, this is the scariest thing I've ever seen, and you run a credit union. You are in the financial institution, which has to be so, so very careful. Go change everything right now. But this was actually happening. So keep passwords private. Do not share them. I cannot tell you how many businesses I sit across from when I'm speaking on a stage or at an actual event that'll tell me, "Oh, Maria, I can't get back into Google. I shared a password with an agency, a friend, a freelancer, a parent, a child, a parent who's helping them, and now they no longer have access." Understand, when you've given your password away, you've given away the keys to the kingdom. There are other roles you can put, even within Google accounts, that you can give people, so you never give away the most important part, which is everything that controls your actual online presence. Yes, see, it doesn't matter. We get so busy, right? Everything is so. How many times have we come across this where we're like, "Oh my gosh, I got to remember that password again. I don't remember, something's off. We are so busy. So I don't fault anybody, no matter how educated you are, no matter what position, we get busy. So we look for shortcuts, and we don't understand that those shortcuts make it easier for somebody to hack and get in, especially when there's a will, there's a way, right? Like Google Password Manager. Yes, Google Password Manager is great to use. Again, I always write things down because I just like to have an analog version just in case anything like this just a moment ago happened. You just never know when you're going to be hit with different challenges. So I like to have different places, but only that I know. Okay. Well, you guys know too, but you don't know the code that I use to write my codes in. So I make it a little bit difficult, and then use a different password for each account. You can use a password manager like Christy was mentioning there in the actual, let's say in the chat box. I'm not familiar with YubiKeys. I'm familiar with Google Password Authentication as well as LastPass, but I'm not familiar with YubiKeys, Eric. I wish I was. If you have two-factor authentication, yes, that can really, Kevin is speaking wisdom right there. I agree. So you can use Google Password Manager. See, Christy, she was already ready. Christy was already ready. I wasn't even there. She was reading our minds. Two-step verification. Kevin, you were right on it. It helps protect an account. Yes, it is cumbersome. I am one of those weirdos who I log out of every site at every night. I don't keep my computer on for a week or anything because I don't want anybody getting to my data. I always log in and I clear all the cookies, not just basic, advanced cookies, everything off. And because I do that every night, it's such a pain every morning when I log in, or like I had to do a moment ago when electricity came back on. Now I have to do all these two-factor authentications to get to my camera, to get to Zoom, to get to PowerPoint, to be able to get to OBS, which is what I use for broadcasting and recording, to be able to get to anything. There is a password and it's two-factor. So it's very cumbersome, but I want to make it cumbersome for everybody else. It's not just that for me. So it might be a little inconvenience, but boy, is it inconvenient when you are hacked. And yes, I agree, Rachel. VPNs, virtual private networks, are great. Sorry, I couldn't say that too fast. Virtual private networks is what VPN stands for. And those are great. I like to use those quite a bit too when I'm out and about. It's a little bit tougher when I'm using from my base, only because some of the websites I go to are pulling my location. So for me to project that I'm in Dallas or elsewhere would mean that I can't access the site. But yes, I use VPN all the time, anytime I'm away from my private network, which I actually have a lot of security put on. So you can see Google Workspace also offers two-step verification. I know it's cumbersome, but it is, I agree. There you go, Betsy. She says it all in one sentence, the realities of our time. So when you are utilizing a Google Workspace account, limit who can see your newly created files. There's a lot of times we default and say anyone with a link, which is fine if you say they're just viewing it. But if you give them all access to edit and to manage a file, they can delete, they can copy, they can add additional people, and you don't want that too. So communicate this not just with yourself, but anybody else that you're working with that has access. Restrict your calendar. Only admins can have recovery information. So you can see it. That URL is where you'll get the best tips and a checklist to be able to make sure that your Google Workspace, the paid workspace, has the kind of security that you need. Okay? Control who you share your files with. Though we all know how to, at least I hope. If you're not aware, let me know. I'm happy to show you what that looks like. But we know how to share files within our Google account. Even a free personal Gmail account can do this, so you don't have to have the paid workspace account. Know that there are different roles. So if you look at number 4, you can either put people that they can view it, which is what you're seeing now. If you use the link here before that I shared with you, which is where you can get a copy of the slides in the handout. And I encourage you to not just click on that, but download them. All right, make sure you download them. It gives you the ability to download that, but you can't make any edits, you can't make adjustments, and you can't add any files to that folder I shared with you. You can comment if I wanted to give you the ability to comment, as you see there to the right on that graphic, or you can edit it. But understand, editor now means that I'm giving you access to things. It doesn't mean that I can't recover them in Google. I do love Google Drive because it has everything is pretty recoverable there. But understand that because it's easier, there has to be some restrictions there too. Like, do you want them to view or just comment? Or as you see in number 5, sometimes I'll put an expiration date. Like I was just talking to you about the files and the link that I just shared with you, where it will expire at the top of the hour. So you want to make sure you download it now. We'll email you it when you actually are sent the recording of this. But right now, if you want to take action on things, I encourage you to download it right now, right? So, what are your thoughts? I don't have any on that yet. I'm studying it, John, but not any yet. I'd love to hear what your thinking is on it and what you've seen. I'd love to know. All right, so I saw John had a question about something specific. You want to check to uncheck to notify people and then send or share. So there's more tips as you see at that bottom link at the bottom left-hand corner. That we're pretty good at most of the time, but how about your equipment, apps, and data? All right. I cannot tell you how many people I go to meetings with and I see this just laying there, and sometimes it's laying there open to their Instagram, to their LinkedIn, or maybe to their messaging app. So they don't even have it locked with a password at the time or even timed out to lock. It's just there. And they run to the bathroom because they think, oh, I'm in a meeting. You know, who's going to do this in a meeting? All right. Never leave things unattended without some security to them. If you just jump up at Starbucks, which I see people do, Starbucks and you know, a lot of different other national cafes, I'll see them jump up and go to the bathroom and they leave things on. And I'm like, first of all, aren't you afraid somebody's going to take your stuff? I'm worried about sticky fingers, but next, aren't you afraid somebody's going to log in? So use a lock screen and enable the services or jobs that people need to do their jobs. Don't give them access to things that they don't need for their job. For example, I have lots of access to Google Admin Console, which means I have total control of all the users associated with the domain. But I don't give everybody else access to that. They don't need that to get their job done. If they're blog writing, if they're helping with social media, they might need access to a file, but they do not need access to the entire files or the entire drive. And the same if you look at check item number 4. Don't trust unknown USBs. Oh my goodness. As somebody who speaks to groups of people, there are people out there who are just like, oh yeah, you could borrow my laptop if you didn't bring your laptop, or, you know, if the event person didn't bring it and a friend of theirs lends their laptop. And all these people are coming up with USBs that are not scanned or virus free, and they're just connecting to your device just like that. But I see it happen all the time. Why? Because everybody is stressed, time crunch, and they want to get the show on the road. So they are willing to and forget that they're making some really dangerous compromises in doing that. Is an email account through Proton email secure than a typical Gmail email account? I'm not familiar as much. I know Proton email. I actually use Virtue, which is a encrypting part of Gmail. Plus, Gmail has a lot of encryption. I, excuse me, Eric, I like the fact that Google, excuse me, gets a bulk of the attacks. Let me take a quick drink. Just because it's Google. And so because of that, I like that they're focused on this. They have the team for this. They are looking for those hacks. They are solving for those hacks. And I tend to lean into them only because of that, even before I was a Google trainer. Deliver a kilo to set to, oh my gosh, look at Kevin. See, Kevin even has all the details of what are the nefarious things that somebody can do with a USB. Yeah, pretty scary. I agree, Christy. I'm frightened with you on that one. Also, keep your mobile devices safe. How many of you, your team members, have a PIN or some way that they lock their devices? How many of you know they encrypt their device? And how many can you remote data wipe? Sorry about that. Okay, sorry, just settling in there. So when I say remote data wipe, what I mean is if the device is lost, can you remote data wipe? A lot of iPhones have this built in, but do you have it for all your devices? So I actually, so you just, you know, I've got parents in the 80s, in their 80s. they lose their mobile phone all the time or just leave it somewhere because they're just not used to that. It wasn't a part of their daily lives. And so they do that. All of it, every one of them, my parents, my kiddos, everybody, we're on the same safe and secure device or plan. So I actually can wipe their data. When they lose something, I can wipe it right away and I can also reinstall it. Now, of course, you don't want somebody to have access to be able to reinstall it except for the people that you are secure with. But yes, definitely. You want to make sure that you have the ability to remote data wipe it for any reason because things get left all wonky places. Also, you want to make sure that software is up to date, right? So if you have software that doesn't offer security, understand that anytime you go to a site that doesn't even have security, HTTPS, keep that in mind too. All right. And also establish policies about that. Do it now, everybody. Remember what I said about how terrible it is to try to do all of this in crisis mode. It's hard. You can't even do basics when that happens. So see, I see people actually lock with, they actually lock with a pin and fingerprint. Somebody so sweet is worried about my cough there. I know. I just got that little tickle in my throat. Thank you for caring though. I wish I had a cough drop next to me. Of course, I was busy with restarting everything that I left all my things everywhere. So I didn't bring everything close to arm's length, right? Google Workspace is designed for that. You can find out more actually by utilizing this link. And if you're just coming in, everybody, make sure you get a copy of today's slide and handout by downloading it right here. All right, here's the thing though. If you are a small business, you also are responsible for protecting your customers and protecting their information. So do make sure you have that secure website. Understand any website that's not secure can get information hacked to quite easily because there's no walls, there's no security protocol. There is nothing preventing people from getting information that people type in. For example, a lot of times you can put in software to a site like this that is actually just like Kevin was talking about, the keylogger tracking what's happening on a laptop from it being installed from a USB, a foreign USB. You can do that also with software in an unsecure site. So anytime somebody keys in their phone number, their email address, their contact information, any personal identifying information, now it can actually make copies of that and hold on to that and broadcast that other places. So it's really important. Oh, see, Kevin, that's scary. Thank you for giving everybody that. Yep, websites are notorious for being hacked, Ron. I agree. There are better ways for companies to host public information and collect is more secure. That you do need to put a lot of security in there, and it's there are so many different kinds of secure software and programs. If you're using software like, for example, one of the CRMs I like using is HubSpot or System or ClickFunnels, even just the back end of that, they're very secure. But that's what they're built for because they know people are leaving their PINs, their personal identifying information, or PIAs. I'm sorry, personal identifying assets. There we go. So make sure that you look to Google Sites, for example, which are free within your actual personal Google accounts or your personal Gmail account. So you can build websites on there are also already secure. So they are built with that security by default because, Google just gets attacked so many times in any given moment that it definitely has all the security protocols there and is constantly testing it. Also protect your email. Just like we were talking about with Proton email, we're talking about different encryptions. You want email that supports encryption, that does have transport security. So as it's being sent from one to another, so as it's just traveling across the online, you just want to make sure that it is secure, and you want to enable two-step verification, because just think about all the data and information coming into your email from your traveling itinerary to your flight number, your confirmation number, your password confirmation or two-factor coming in from maybe your bank account, all those things, your credit card alerts, where are they coming into? And is it secure? Do you have that secure so only you can access it, or at least slow somebody down? Because sometimes that's all it is just the deterrent. The fact that somebody has their phone laying over here, wide open, ready to go, and one's over here locked, I'm going to go with the one that is wide open. It's the low hanging fruit, right? So it's a crime of opportunity. Now with emails, I wanted to spend some time here because a lot of us think that we know and we've got this email thing down, but we really don't. And they've gotten a whole lot savvier. First, of course, we know email attachments, any of them, PDFs, downloading files, visiting new websites. I see that all the time. I have my security on all the time and it's giving me pop-ups saying they're doing this, they're phishing for this. I've got a lot of ad blockers that I work with too, because every way I don't want my data collected. So that's really important. And you have to think not just about those attachments that are coming from strange email addresses, but what about people we already know who may be not good at, again, keeping their security? What are we, because we believe they're trustworthy, allowing in? We're thinking they vetted it, but then when we really think about it, do they vet anything and protect anything that comes in? Or are they more about, let's just go with ease, and they've got some basic function of what they're actually doing online? Okay, so keep that in mind. Also, don't click on links on unsolicited emails. I know we talk about this, but people have gotten savvy. They use your name, they know personal information. There's a lot that they can gather out there that's already available that people have sold. And then also look out for email addresses and email signatures. This is also important too. All right, because there are suspicious email addresses that we may not even realize are suspicious. Okay, so let me show you what that could look like. For example, this is a big one that was out here probably at the mid of last year. There was a lot of stuff from ACE and they thought it was from ACE, but it was not. A lot of people can mimic, mirror, or spam and scam thinking it's that actual entity. So you think, okay, that's ACE hardware, it is them. Or you think that's Wells Fargo, that is them. Now, why do I bring that up? Because I have banking accounts lots of different places. So I received an email from my bank saying, you know what, we don't have your current home address and you need to update that because we're updating our records. And I thought, that's weird. You have my current email address or my home address. Now it came from wellsfargo.com. It did say wellsfargo.com. I double checked it. I verified it. Yet I was like, So of course I went to my app. I looked at it and I thought, my home address is in there. So I called the bank. I didn't call from the phone number on the actual email that was sent. I didn't click on any link on the actual email was sent. And I spoke to a banker and she said, oh no, that's not from us. That's a phishing scam. I said, but it says wellsfargo.com. She goes, I know, but I'm glad you called us from the contact information you already have from us that I had on my device or on my folder. They gave me everything directly from them, not from the information that I found here. So this is really important for you to know, because I have seen several people, more than a handful, who thought it was that actual business give their information, who actually have lost money. I even had one of our team members who had everything withdrawn from her PayPal account because she thought it came from PayPal. So it's really important to understand, is there an urgency, right? There's something going on, like it's going to cost you more time, energy, or money. All right. Yep, exactly. So is it an unknown sender? Maybe no photos, or that there's an attachment. The copy doesn't sound just right. There's something different, even though AI is amazing. Artificial intelligence is amazing at being able to do that. But, it's also doesn't write like a human. So we have to look at it and think, does it sound like a human? Does it sound like English as a native language, human being? Does it sound like that? So you need to really look at that. So can you spot the fake? Take a look at this here. And I do see your question, John, about my thoughts on tripwire. So while everybody's looking here, letting me know which one they think is the fake, the left or the right one. Yes, again, I like tripwires because they use them a lot in funnels and upsells, but I think you need to use a system that's secure. There's a lot of fly-by-night systems that are birthed every single day. And I like to go with one that has a longer, stronger reputation and time, plus a lot more customers because it's been vetted now by every customer there. Okay. Okay, so Sharon thinks it's the right. Thank you, Sharon. Who else? Left or right? Which one's the scam or the fake? Yes. So Kevin's right. They can spoof your phone number. I can do that. I mean, I know how to do that. I can spoof the phone number right away. I thought was the neat. I wanted to know. I was curious, Kevin, how easy it was to do. So I did it. I tried it and I used the hospital's phone number and I called my husband and I said, let's see how easy this works. And he says, no, it comes out across as the hospital. So yes, we know it works. It's easy and it can be done for free. There's no cost. Can I call you back? Exactly, Kevin. So I want to stop here for a moment and share this goal that Kevin just shared in the chat. Said related to scammers can spoof their phone numbers to look like someone else. For example, your bank. But if you call the bank, you won't reach the bank. Okay, that's not who you'll reach. So always feel free to say, "Can I call you back?" if you receive a potentially fishy call. Always, always, always. Best practice there. Take that and make that a part of your life, just like two-factor authentication, right? Okay, so everybody thinks it's the right. Yep. So take a look at this, right? It's unknown sender at example.com. So unknown sender, but look at the URL, accounts.google.com.https. That's not from a Google account. That's not from a Gmail account. That's not where you need to put your information. Okay. So understand, know that this is a spam or scam that's phishing for your information. All right, right. No picture exactly. All right. Can be spoofed. You could have to look at the full email headers to determine right. Rules we have: never clicks on attachment and only direct login, right? Exactly. Go directly to the sites that you already have. If you have a site that you've bookmarked, you know exactly where you're going, go there. Do not go from any link within an email. It's potentially dangerous. So Gmail does block more than 99% of spam, which is really good. Again, this is why, because I know Google is just attacked left and right, and it does have the resources to be able to test that and then also to patch for that. And just like Jorge just said here, or is it Jorge? Joji just said, think before you click. Always think before you click, right? So the big thing is to plan ahead. Put an outline together of who's in charge. If something happens at your place, at your home, for example, for your home, own privacy and security, but then also if you have a business that you're operating out of your home or a small business that you operate separately, have a plan of action for each. And then that will help you having that plan of action and checklist to be able to take quick action. So make a record right now. Just think about that. If we were under stress right now, you were told, okay, you are locked out of this, this, and this, and you have to change all your passwords. How many of you would spend the next rest of the day trying to think of all the things you have passwords to, all your software, all your platforms, all your social media, anything that you log into? How many would take the entire day to just make that list? So when we have that list already handy at our fingertips, how quick and easy is that? Do it now. Do it before. It's insurance that'll never happen. You'll feel like you wasted your time because you did it and nothing happened, but it kept it from happening. Trust me on that. No, really, I don't like saying that. It's actually to make you feel more alerted. People don't trust people who say trust me. So which platforms put that all together? And are they up to date? Do you have a list of all your up-to-date platforms, or when is the last time you updated that? What accounts do you have? What other accounts do you have access to? A lot of times we forget things because we'll think, oh, we did a trial on that. We didn't use that. We're done using that. And we don't, they don't charge us for us, or we stop the ability for them to charge. So we don't think about that, but that could be an open window to some personal information where they might have our name, our phone number, our address, our IP address, anything like that. And what hardware do we use? Do we keep it up to date? So have clear policies and provide the training. Make sure people know exactly what's happening. That's why I like to use Google Sites a lot, because they are very secure, and I'll use those to be an internal training website. So it's not going to be public facing, but it's where I could put everything for every team member, every contractor, every freelancer, any agency that we work with sees exactly this is how we keep things secure. This is what you need to use, and it's the only way you need to use it. I know there's a cost for me. I have a Google Workspace account. I know there is a cost for every email address I create in that workspace. I'm charging now $6.95 to $12 per email address that I create, but a lot of times I'll even bring contractors in that way because I want everything they access secure and under our workspace domain without any outside access from another Gmail or potential other email address. Because again, I want to keep everything secure and make sure that if something happens right now, if something's not secure and something becomes locked up or infiltrated by hackers, what's your next plan of action? Who do you contact? Do you have that together? One easy place. Because again, just like we like 911 in the case of an emergency, it's a nice simple thing to remember. We need to make it easy and simple because when we're under stress and duress, simple is very, very hard. Okay. So let's see. I've got some comments here from Kevin. Have I been, oh, perfect. Yes, I've actually seen that. So actually, has your data been leaked? He's got a good URL there that you can utilize to see if your data's been leaked and it's out there already. For example, my son's school, they're junior high at their junior high school. One of the vice principals took their laptop home from work that had all the students' information, their IDs, their student IDs, their social security numbers, all the students. He took his laptop home and he put it in the back of his truck. He left his truck in his driveway and he didn't lock the truck. For 6 months afterwards, they had to pay for security for all of our kiddos' information, and I don't even think 6 months was enough penalty for that kind of incompetence. This is the only way I can say it, the nice way I can say it. I just thought it was horrible. All those students' social security numbers who now are prime, who don't have any credit, but could have great medical history that somebody could take over because people would love access to people's different medical plans and be able to charge a lot of things on their medical that they never have to worry about. There's also, of course, social security numbers. That's gold. And people are looking for that, but there's home numbers, phone numbers, mobile numbers, all of, the emergency backup and contact numbers. You think as a parent, you've got everything secure, and then somebody at the school decides to do something like that. So that's what you have to keep in mind is there are always moments there, those opportunities. Are you closing those opportunities as much as possible to make them, limited as far as the amount of opportunities, and also provide the ability for people to know what they need to do if they are caught off guard like that? Who do they need to contact? Who knows this plan in place? Right? So make everybody aware, let them know. I talk to everybody, even freelancers that we work with. I let them know these are the secure ways we do things. And you can't, I know it's cumbersome. I hear all the excuses or the reasons. Maria, it takes a long time for this. I understand that, but I would much rather be secure. If they have concerns, because they are experts in their areas, they may say, you know what, I see you don't have anything for this, and this is how everybody can get into your X account or your Instagram account. Listen, and then also make sure you model good behavior, because if you're out there and saying that, hey, my password is Jesus 2025, just use Jesus, or maybe it could be 2025 Jesus, or Jesus dash or underscore 2025, or it could be Jesus 25. If it's any of those conjugations and I'm showcasing that to everybody, I am not a good model and example to the people that I work with, because I'm showing them this is how you should do your password too. So what do you do if you're attacked? Contact everybody. And it's not going to be easy. All right. So I was looking at my PayPal account, and my PayPal account one day had 9 charges, $12.95, 9 charges back to back. And I thought, what in the world is that? So I looked to see what it was, didn't recognize the company. I didn't call from any email. I called my contact information from PayPal, finally got a hold of somebody because I was in chat hold forever. So I went ahead and called them. And she said, yes, I'm here to help you. Do you see the 9 charges? Yes, she saw the 9 charges. And she said, okay. I said, well, they're not legit. She said, oh, but this is a subscription, so they are legit. I said, no, they're not. They just came in today. I've never had that subscription before. Well, yes, it's a subscription. And I said, again, we have to work with different levels of employees and their actual skill set there. So you might have to be very focused and purpose driven to be able to let them know this. So I told her, I need you to look at these because these charges all started today. And she said, well, it's a subscription. I said, okay, when did the subscription start? She said, today. I was like, okay, I'm telling you, that is not me. Okay. I keep telling you this. I'm trying to get you to help me. So then she finally escalated me to a supervisor who said, oh, yes, we see it's we see that it just happened today. Sure, we're going to go ahead and take it off. But understand if I had just left it and said, you know what, I didn't look at my PayPal account or I looked later, there could have been that could have just been a testing charge to see can $12.95 make it through. All right, it can. Now let's go for $1,200 and let's go for, you know, 2,000. Let's go for bigger amounts once we test the smaller amounts, which is normally what happens there. So you're going to have to be diligent and you're going to have to be perseverant in letting them know because a lot of people will discount you depending on their security level and experience. You also want to check your credit report to see if you see any unrecognized accounts. You may think your baby who was just born 5 months ago, or you know doesn't have any sort of identity at all, but they did at the hospital, and so therefore there's some medical, any of your insurance connected with their all your personal information. So check those credit reports all the time. Any fraudulent charges, dispute them. Dispute them. Be very diligent about that. They always start with a smaller amount, right? Had to close a bank account because of fraud. Yeah, my son had to close his and actually get a new credit card because his credit card had he loves to buy things on Amazon, but Amazon UK all of a sudden showed up. And he's not in the UK. He's here in the US. So he's not buying or selling anything in the UK. And all of a sudden there was a charge, a monthly charge from Amazon UK, and he had that actually reversed, and it was definitely a scam. Also consider placing a fraud alert on your account and freezing your credit. So there's a lot of accounts now, especially bank accounts and credit cards that have what's known as virtual cards that you can create for one-time use. You use them, you lock them. You don't have to worry about your number being out there. Okay. You do need to file a report, file a local police report if something happens like this, because that's the only thing you can take action on is that the fact that there's some documentation that something has happened. It doesn't mean that the police can necessarily help you, but at least now you've documented that there's been an incident. So the next thing that you're going to do is go to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. You'll file that there. You'll see that screen in front of you, and it is the central hub for reporting all cybercrime. And you can see that right at that bottom URL there that you see in a teal kind of green. That's how you get there. And again, if you just came in, here's a copy of today's slides so you can download those. For my business, my credit is also, yep. I actually do that too. I use virtual cards for everything. I don't use the actual card at all. Rarely, just because I don't want the numbers out there. People ask you, you know, I have people in doctor's offices write the credit card number down on a piece of paper, and you're wondering, well, where's that piece of paper going? Or take a picture with their own personal phone number. They're working at an office and they take a picture because they're going to take it somewhere. No, no, no. So you need to report fraud, scams, and bad business practices here. That's where you'll go. And any identity theft is at that second URL that's in that blue. Okay, so keep those somewhere easy to access and make sure your entire team knows where to find that information so that they can report it. So the next thing you need to do is change your passwords. If you've ever given your password to anybody, go back and change it. And now give them access another way through a role. With Google Tools, you can decide that they're a manager, that they're an owner, you're the primary owner. You can give them access that way, or you can give them read access to things, and they can access that through their own personal account, their personal email address. Seek technical support. Have somebody in the background. So I don't do cyber attacks, and because I'm not the tech support for that, I have an actual team here that I call on if I see something happen, and they're my backup. I don't get to call on them often, thank goodness, but I know that they're there and I know they're available if something happens, so I don't have to worry about now trying to do this all and create this on the fly when I'm in stress. Also, I do monitor things all the time because this is so important. It's just that one little thing that they're going to get by with, that once they can get under the radar, now that they know that this is available and accessible to them. So a virtual card? A virtual card is, just so you know, a virtual card. So for example, I might have a credit card and I might actually have 20, 25 different virtual cards. It is a number that comes from that. So it's tied to that credit card, but you have the ability to lock it. to make it available for only one purchase, or maybe it's only available at abc.com. So you can only buy things at abc.com. For example, I have a virtual credit card set up with Netflix. So it only can charge to Netflix. If somebody gets a hold of it and they want to charge somewhere else, it'll only charge to Netflix, and it's only once a month it's allowed to charge. Anything more than that, it will lock up immediately. Okay. So that's what a virtual card is. So the recap is: use those strong passwords, use two-step verification. All right, consider using that password manager. Look at your equipment. Have you updated? Is it safe? One of the things, you guys might think I'm a weirdo, but it's because I actually had my printer hacked from somebody who was driving around the neighborhood and access to Wi-Fi. So we've locked that down. And I had an old printer. So I have a new printer now, but even when I'm not using it at all, I turn it completely off and it's unplugged because nobody's accessing stuff through my printer anymore. Keep and secure all of your websites. Use an email provider that supports encryption. That plan is going to be gold for you. Keep it somewhere and make it available to your team and make them aware of it. Even your kiddos, they're growing up in a digital age that they need to have this top of mind for them, because everything that they interact with is going to be online with a password, and develop that nature. That's how you do that. It's a security culture to keep everybody's information private and absolutely secure. You can see there's more information here at this website. Does Gmail automatically have encryption? Yes, it does. It already does have that. It's built into its layers, Eric. Your business bank account? Yep, it depends on your bank. Ask them about that. If you don't have virtual cards, ask them about that. And also reach out to your SCORE mentor, your SCORE chapter. They're there for you. They're the boots on the ground, and they have so much experience, so they can help you with all of this, because they not only have their own personal experience that you can take advantage of without having to put the time and energy in, but they also work with other clients and other businesses. And because of that, they're aware of even what's happening locally, maybe what the latest spams and scams are happening locally too. Okay. How did you secure your printer? Oh, well, I secured better our Wi-Fi, and the printer is actually now hardwired. That's how I secured it. It can go onto Wi-Fi, but I also have it hardwired into a device, just because I didn't want to go through that again. It was the weirdest thing when the printer was taken over by somebody, because it started to print out stuff. So what I did is we actually unplugged it and we destroyed everything in it. We destroyed the hard drive and everything in it. It was a nice smashing event for my boys. If you want to connect with me, this is how you can connect with me. The link at the very top is a bit.ly link. It is case sensitive, so you have to keep it all lowercase. You can connect with me here at any of my socials. Pick the one that you like to spend the most time with. Tag me on it, because I like to share that you actually applied what you've learned. And if I've been helpful to you, I like to model what I teach all the small businesses that I work with is: anytime you ask for a good review, you ask and you've given information and you want a review, a real review. It doesn't have to be good. It just is your honest review. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you taking the time to it. But I do know that businesses need to ask. So that's why I ask. Oh, I'm so glad that you like my weekly Google tips. Thank you, Christy. Thank you so much. Yep. They are good for employees. Yes, I agree, Amelia. You want to give virtual cards because then you can turn them on and off. You don't want anybody out there with your information at all. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go to a Q&A now. If there's any questions or answers that I missed. I know we are 3 minutes past the hour. And again, I want to just say thank you for being patient while I had to get back online and get through all my two-factor authentication, plus get just everything up and running again. Thank you, everyone. Again, make sure you download, if you haven't already, a copy of the slides. There you go. And the handout if you're headed out, because it's about to not be available at that link. And thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. Thank you, Rachel, for your feedback. Bill, thank you for the chance again to work with the SCORE businesses that you work with and that you support. I'm so excited about these businesses being able to go online. All of these businesses interested in cybersecurity. I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with SCORE again. And remember what I said about the SCORE mentors, the chapters that you have available to you, they're there for you. Yeah, my email is actually, oh, where is it? There it is. Where's my email? You can actually find me here. If you go to klibrand.com, it's Maria at that. That's how you can connect with me there. Feel free to email me. Plus, you'll also get, when you get a copy of the slides and the recording mailed to you, you'll also have my email address there because it's coming from me and from Brittany, my assistant. So you'll get it from both of us. All right. Any other questions that I did not answer for anybody? All right. It looks like we're good to go, Bill. Everybody looks taken care of. Again, I apologize for the rocky start and the quick. I purchased extra monitors with USB and drivers to attach to laptop. How do I know if the device purchases is compromised? All right, if you're purchasing them extra and they're from somebody else, just make sure that everything should be free and clear. If you're going for a monitor, then everything should be good. It's USBs that have storage. Usually monitors don't have storage to them. They're just a direct connection where you're flowing that actual connection and access from one to the other. There's usually no storage in there, but if Kevin's still here, you might know of something more nefarious that's happened with monitors. I don't.
Okay,
What
Maria,
company?
as always, thanks. Great
You're
job. Maria will be back with us on the 25th at 3 p.m. and she'll talk to us about launching your business with customer-focused marketing. So we look forward to seeing you again. And as always, great job. Appreciate your help.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill.
Thanks everyone for joining. You'll get a copy of the recording and of the presentation for those who attended. Thanks.